Hello there. What's going on, LBHT Crew B? What's going on?
What's going on, man? A whole lot of the media making themselves a story this week, huh?
Yes, the media, mainstream media is going to be a theme in tonight's show. Look who's in the house. We got Living Legend, our newest patron. What's going on? Shout out to you, man. Appreciate you signing up. And if you want to be awesome like Living Legend right above me, patreon.com/LBHT Show. All right. We got 2 tiers, $3 tier, $10 tier. Go ahead and pick one. We got our man Garnett West in the house. What's going on, Garnett? We got Mr. Engraven. Make sure you check him out. Engraven also has a audio podcast. We have to put audio in front of everything now, because when we say podcast, people just go to the YouTube videos. Check out Team Keep It Clean podcast. All right. Tough Puppy is in the house. What's going on?
What's up?
Look who's early. Okay. Okay. Is this a special Wednesday? What's going on today?
Every Wednesday special, man.
Eric L., thank you for coming through.
What's going on, Eric?
Ferris is in the house. Derek Weatherly, man, people are ready tonight, boy. Derek Weatherly is here. Suge Knight is here. Suge Knight 323. Make sure you check him out too. Did you guys put up the Loki review yet? On the Watt Real Entertainment. Watt Real Entertainment. All right. Emphasis is in the house. What's going on? I hope everybody is having a great week, a lovely week. And if not, hopefully your week starts to get better right now. All right. We got you guys see the title, man. We got some Lamar talk. That's why everybody's here. They see Lamar in the title. That's what's going on. We are going to talk about the media's obsession with Lamar Jackson. Why do they love speaking his name? It's a wonderful name, right? Don't get me wrong. It's a great name. But why do they have to speak it every time? We're going to get into that a little bit. Raven Ron, what's going on?
What's going on, Raven?
Appreciate you coming through. We're going to talk about Stephen A. shenanigans.
Live at 8 p.m.
Eastern time.
I believe.
8 p.m. Eastern time. Okay.
I love Loki. Make sure you check that out.
Mm-hmm. So we have a lot to talk about tonight.
Yes.
But first, we have a Black History fact. And B is going to give you that Black History fact.
Yeah. So this one's going to be another fairly quick one. More of a setup for next week's Black History fact. But, a lot of people know Bob Marley. People love Bob Marley's music. One of his most famous songs, Buffalo Soldier, came out in 1983. It was actually a posthumous album. One of his bigger hits. I'm not sure how many people know what that song is about, where that term comes from. And Buffalo Soldiers were a group of cavalry in the U.S. Army, and all black cavalry. Right, and they were formed in 1866, in September of 1866, and then that kind of became a term for all black regiments in the military. The term, it's thought that it came from Native Americans, and they used it because the black soldiers had different hair from the white soldiers, and they said it was like bison, right? So they would call them Buffalo Soldiers. So like I said, they were formed in 1866 at Fort Leavenworth, Kansas. They were active up until 1951, fought in the First Nations War, the Spanish-American War, the Philippine-American War, the Mexican Border War, World War I, and World War II. And so, there are a lot of mentions in popular culture about them. There's a few songs, like I said, the Bob Marley song. There was a Quincy Jones had a song about him called Soul Saga, which he produced. There was another song here. Let me pull it up right here. By the Flamingos that came out in 1970. They were mentioned in the television Western Rawhide. There's been mentions of them in several movies. They're part of a Netflix series right now called Godless. So, pretty popular American history fact, right? But being that they were all black, they were also subjected to a lot of prejudice at the time. And, they were attacked by Americans in several towns since they were formed. We're looking at excuse me here. Let me pull up the list again. They were attacked in Brownsville, Texas, Rio Grande City, Houston, and Bisbee, Arizona. Bisbee was in 1919. They were actually invited there along with another regiment, an all-white regiment, because the town wanted to throw a parade, and they didn't realize at the time that the Buffalo Soldiers were going to be coming, so they were kind of upset. The police were headed by a lot of racists. Like, that was a quality they looked for in their police. And the police kind of started, they were harassing them, because Bisbee was a sundown town, which meant, non-white people weren't allowed to be there after dark. And the police just kept on harassing them, asking them to surrender their weapons, just kind of kept on messing with them until, eventually a violence broke out, and a few Buffalo Soldiers were shot. A couple police were injured. That happened again in the summer of 1919. And it's just kind of a little glimpse into what being an American hero meant in the early 20th century if you were black. And that's what we're going to talk a little bit more about next week, what happened over the course of several months in 1919. They called it the Red Summer. But that, again, we'll get back to next week.
All right. So a nice history fact and a good setup for next week's history fact. That's awesome, man. All right. Now, look, you guys know why we're here. You know why we're here, man. One, Lamar Jackson, like what is going on? Like week after week, there is something going on that they just have to say his name every week. Mm-hmm. Why the obsession? Well, look, if you look at Engraven's video, he's put out a nice video on it, describing what's going on. You check out Keeping It Real. You check out Jose Verduzco. They've done some great videos on this, right? Mm-hmm. So let's break down like the latest two things that have happened. Oh, the latest thing that's happened. One was Pro Football Focus. We did that 2 weeks ago. We covered that, saying he's not a top 50 player. Okay, now laughable. Now Pro Football Talk, in particular Mike Florio,
yes,
has a problem with Lamar Jackson playing with kids, essentially
on asphalt.
Okay. All right.
Would have been fine if it was on grass.
Yeah. Right, on asphalt. So he wrote an article. Well, let's start out with the fact that Lamar Jackson had a kids fun day. Was it last weekend? It was last weekend.
I believe so. Yeah, third annual kids fun day.
And he actually did it 2 days, I believe. It was like Saturday and Sunday, and free. Everybody had fun. He made sure he spent time with all the kids. And, they put out videos of him playing with the kids. And one of the videos, he was running routes, like a wide receiver, something he wouldn't do at the combine. And, and he was playing DB, with kids. And, Mike Florio took offense to that. And he said, look, you shouldn't be doing that when you're about to come up on a contract, and he threw some shots at his mom because his mom represents him. So he said a good agent would tell him not to do that because you can't risk injury. Now, why does Mike Florio care so much about the well-being of Lamar Jackson? And since when has Mike Florio, who's a blogger, right? He started out as a blogger. Since when did he become a sports agent? He's giving out sports agent advice. Who did he ever represent? I'm curious.
Right. Yeah. And, it's again, Mike Florio's out there because he's talking about Lamar because Lamar gets clicks. And Lamar gets clicks because a lot of people do not like Lamar Jackson. Yeah. And, they love downplaying his ability. They love talking about how he can't actually throw. He's only successful because he's an elite athlete. And, like we said before, none of the things that you hear about Josh Allen, right, who actually had struggles throwing the ball when he came in the league and could only move the offense with his legs. Yeah. Lamar Jackson has been an incredibly efficient passer since he came into the NFL. I mean, obviously nobody's perfect, but he's been one of the top quarterbacks in the league since he was drafted. And yes, he is also one of the best open field runners in the NFL, period. So it makes him, one of the most dangerous players the league has ever seen, but it's not a negative. But, for certain reasons. There are people who love to kind of downplay his ability.
Well,
they're just kind of hoping that once he slows down or hoping he gets hurt or loses a little bit of his athleticism, that he won't be quite as dominant as he's been.
Right. Let's break down. I broke it down to 3 layers. There are 3 layers to the media's obsession with Lamar Jackson. The first layer is race. Right. I mean, we talk about it all the time in this show, like, just black players are just seen differently in leadership positions. And that goes for just anything in society. Right.
Yes.
The second layer is the need to be right. Right. The media, mainstream media's need to be right. And the third is, B mentioned, clicks. Right. The need for clicks, the need for attention. Those are the 3 things that drive Lamar Jackson stories, because Josh Allen ain't gonna get you clicks. You know what I'm saying? Josh Allen's not gonna get you clicks. And they didn't go as hard in on Josh Allen as they did Lamar. So we'll start with the first thing. Let's start with race. Obviously black quarterbacks have been viewed differently in the NFL forever.
Yes.
Since the inception of football. And even to today, there hasn't been that much progress if you look at it. Yes, you see more starting black quarterbacks, but the view on black quarterbacks is they're not as cerebral. And that's something that's been passed on from generation to generation. And it's something that even the NFL takes an official position on. They think black players are dumber. That's their official position. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, just a couple weeks ago, they stopped using race norming. If you don't know what race norming is, go look it up. Race norming is something that a study that they used to determine that black people have a lower IQ. Black players have a lower IQ than the white players. So when they were settling these lawsuits and paying out former players for CTE, basically what they're saying is black players have to score even lower than the white players on the IQ test because they're dumber. So that's their official position.
Right.
Okay. So this is something that's instilled. This is the mindset that's instilled in the NFL culture. That's the thought. Okay. So it's no different with Lamar Jackson. You see a player who's proven it from college, high school all the way through college, won the Heisman, played in a pro style offense. He's done it all. And they're like, don't believe your lying eyes. He should be playing wide receiver, a position he's never played before.
Right.
You've never seen him play before. Definitely he'll get drafted as a wide receiver. Right. And a lot of people in the media jumped on that because that's the first thing you think of when you think of a black athlete. And Stephen A., who we're going to talk about later on, he's done it before too. He did it with Dwayne Haskins. Right. Obviously never seen Dwayne Haskins play, but he knew he was black. And what was his first comments about Dwayne Haskins? Run first quarterback. Dwayne Haskins for his career had 50 yards rushing?
Less, I believe.
Yeah.
And this, you can't even just pin this on media people, because Lamar being a wide receiver was from, that came first from Bill Polian, who was a very successful NFL GM.
Yeah.
And so, it just shows you the kind of attitudes that are prevalent in
and
the
Charlie
league.
Casserly.
Yeah, well, I kind of forgot he existed, but yes, Charlie Casserly as well. And you don't, the types of criticisms that you get for black quarterbacks, you don't get for white quarterbacks, period. I mean, I don't recall ever hearing pre-draft that a white quarterback just wasn't smart enough. But you get that for nearly every black quarterback that comes out. I don't know, how many people remember, but when Jared Goff came out, they were on, I believe they were on Hard Knocks. Maybe
they were on Hard Knocks.
Kind of behind the scenes thing, but he was at practice and they found out that he didn't know how to call plays. Like he had just never.
He literally did not know. Like, we know now, right? We make jokes about it now, but in Hard Knocks tells you a lot of truths. If you watch Hard Knocks, they tell you a lot of truths. In that first 2 episodes usually is when a lot of stuff gets exposed. But I remember that he had never called a play in a huddle. And he was struggling to do it. Like, they're telling him to play, he was trying to call it, and the teammates were like, what?
Yeah.
Like, what's he talking about? He never knew how to do it. So from the jump, he just didn't know how to call plays. So what did McVay do? And he's done up until now, he's in Detroit now. He just called plays for him, and he would call the plays in his helmet, so he didn't even have to think about it. Just go out there, do what you know how to do. I'll line everybody up for you. Like, I mean, what are you reading?
Well, called the plays as well as read the defense for him pre-snap.
Yes,
but my point being that nobody ever questioned Jared Goff's intelligence coming into the league. He was the number one pick. It was between him and Carson Wentz, but he was thought of as a top guy. You never heard anything about his intelligence, his football IQ. Josh Allen came into the league and played lesser competition. He came into the league and was wildly inaccurate. I mean, he was just a straight up bad quarterback his rookie year, but you didn't get that same kind of talk that you get about Lamar Jackson. You look at Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield had all kinds of attitude problems, right? All kinds of character red flags. He was flipping off people in the stadium.
You saw him get tackled by police.
Yeah, he ran a little bit from police. I
always laugh about that because every time I see that, I put down on my fake scouting report, not athletic enough, right? Because he tried to run away from police and they tackled him.
Yeah.
But you see red flags with some of these guys, and it just kind of gets written off.
And and it's funny because that with Kirk Herbstreit, he saw Baker Mayfield, giving people the finger in college, and he just he hand waved it. He wrote it off like, oh, it's not a big deal, blah blah blah. But when a black player did that, Rashawn Golden, who got drafted by the Panthers in the 3rd round, he did that at Tennessee as well. And Herbstreit went on a rant talking about he should have been kicked off the team.
Yep.
Now, to his credit, Rashawn Golden called him out about that on Twitter, and he said, "You know what, you're right. That's a mistake of mine, and that's something that I had to think about it and just do better in the future."
And that I do respect. I respect when somebody can say, "You're absolutely right. I'm wrong. I'm not going to make any excuses. I'm going to work on it." A lot of times, that's all you got to say.
Because it just goes. It's just unconscious, right? Like he's just trained or conditioned to see black players and white players differently.
Yes. Yeah. So, I mean, that's one layer. I'm going to read a couple of these comments and we're going to get to the second layer, the need to be right. Let's see here. Raven Ron says, Keyshawn Johnson has something to say about Lamar too. Yeah, of course. And look, one person says something, everybody says it in mainstream media, ESPN, FS1. They're all going to say the same talking points, right? In fact, Dan Le Batard used to make jokes about that on his show when he was on ESPN, that the talking points used to go around. They get emails saying, we have to talk about this today, right? So, I mean, that's just what it is. Tupobi says they don't want to see him win. No, they don't. They don't. Zico Kage, what's going on? What's good, up, LBHT? Hope life has been great, both of y'all and everyone reading this. All right, shout out to you, man. Appreciate you coming through. Yes, Ferris, Dwayne Haskins was a statue, which was why it was so funny that Stephen A. made those comments saying that he was a run-first quarterback. Running to where? Ferris said he also said Josh Allen should have played tight end. Well, that's another person that all the things that they would say about Lamar. Run first, has to throw on the run, can't stand in the pocket, can't make all the reads. That was Josh Allen to the T. And Matt Waldman actually he wrote about this, talking about the difference between the two. And he could show you, he break down tape, all the tape, play by play, what Lamar did great, what Josh and the things that Josh Allen didn't do that Lamar did. And he said Lamar was going to be great in the pocket. He has great pocket awareness. He goes through all of his reads. He's been doing that since college. And he does it in the NFL now. He just doesn't get credit for it. When they say, well, he's holding on to the ball too long, or he missed somebody that's wide open. He didn't miss anybody. Like, that he's doing what the play calls for a lot of times. Right? I don't think he misses somebody that's getting open. I think they're telling him, go this way. Or he just doesn't have the faith in the wide receiver.
Well, I was going to say, and also, to be fair, sometimes he looks up and that open guy is Miles Boykin and he says, nah.
Yeah.
We need to gain yards on this play.
Jimmy Kidwell says, if Lamar looked and sounded different, he wouldn't get as much negativity. That's a fact. They don't even like his voice. That's true. Just Aloe's in the house. What's going on? Hey, fellas, the heat had me knocked out. I just woke up, man. This heat over here is no joke. And why it works, sometimes the AC works, sometimes it doesn't. Okay, so the second thing, the need to be right. This is obvious, right? Nobody in the media wants to say that they're wrong. Like they think it's like you have some point system. If you admit that you're wrong too many times, your credibility goes away. But that's not how it works.
Yeah, spoiler alert, you don't have credibility to begin with. You are Mike Florio.
Well, yeah. What's his name? Howard Bryant.
Yeah.
Tweeted it out a couple of days ago. There's a huge difference between journalism and media. And what a lot of these people are doing is not journalism, it's media. And it's trash. Yeah. What's going on, Davon? Hashtag LBHT crew.
What's
yes,
up,
sir.
Davon?
Appreciate you coming through. So, yeah, that's what it is. So they went really hard against Lamar, and it's a long list of people. And some of them got wise and said, you know what? I'm just wrong. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I don't know what I was looking at before. I got it wrong. I mean, they got it all the way wrong with Lamar Jackson. You're talking about a guy who was picked 32nd. He was the 5th quarterback taken.
Yes.
The 5th quarterback taken. You had Baker Mayfield number 1. You had Sam Darnold number 3.
Mm-hmm.
All right. You had
Josh Allen number 7 and Josh Rosen. 10th.
Right. Josh Rosen lost his job immediately. They went and drafted a quarterback the very next year, number 1. So got that one completely wrong.
To be fair, he didn't lose his job because he actually didn't even win the starting job in Arizona to begin with.
Yes. So. Yes. Sam Darnold, I ain't gonna talk about Sam Darnold seeing ghosts and all that stuff. He's a Panther now. I ain't gonna say nothing. But he hasn't had a great start to his career. Let's put it that way.
Gotta take that one, I guess.
Josh Allen, he had a really good year last year. His rookie year was awful. He was everything that they would say about Lamar Jackson. I think he had more rushing touchdowns than passing touchdowns, I believe. Definitely more passing touchdowns than he had interceptions. So not a great year, but they did a good job surrounding him with talent and just giving him support. And he definitely turned it around last year. Done an excellent job last year. Baker Mayfield had a really good rookie season, and they said, "Hey, this guy's going to be MVP next year." They got him Odell, they got Jarvis Landry. This guy is going to be the man, and the exact opposite happened. Lamar Jackson was a unanimous. He was 20 touchdowns, 20 interceptions. Lamar Jackson was a unanimous MVP. Baker, and he turned it around last year too.
Over there.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear anything about him because people were, he's going to be MVP. They're going to be Super Bowl candidates.
Yes.
Meanwhile, Lamar actually wins MVP. They go 14-2. They come back the next year. They make the playoffs again. They win a playoff game, and can Lamar even play in the NFL?
Right. Because they got it so wrong. Some people wised up and said, yeah, no, he can play. Yeah, he's the man. Like I'm not going to keep questioning him. Other people want to double down because now it's okay. He played well, but is it sustainable? Right? Can he keep doing it? Can he keep playing that style of football? Well, last year he had a down year, but it was still a pretty good year. And I think it's obvious it's sustainable. It's obvious he can maintain this level of play. So now they're just waiting for any little thing to happen so they can trash him instead of just saying he's really good. Let's just move on. So that's the need to be right. And the third one, another obvious one, they need clicks. It's slow right now. There's not a lot to talk about, right? You and I don't even talk that much football in the off season. I know a lot of you guys are here for the Ravens content. We try to give it to you every week in some shape or form, but we don't focus a whole lot on it because there's not a whole lot to talk about, and we don't like making up stuff. We don't like,
repeating the same thing.
Yeah. That's not really our thing. That's not really our thing. Now we are going to start ramping it up, probably starting next week because training camp is coming up. So you're going to get a lot of Ravens and Panthers content. So stay tuned for that. But I get it, man. Like you need something to talk about. Baker, I guess. I don't know. I would say you could take shots at Baker. I know Colin Cowherd does it, and it gets him ratings.
Yeah, but I don't think the majority of people like that though. They want you to leave Baker alone.
Yeah, you could talk about Aaron Rodgers, and his beef with the Packers. There are other stories that you could talk about.
The entire city of Green Bay, apparently.
Yeah. I mean, there's other stories that you can talk about, but Lamar Jackson is easy and convenient. You can take shots at him. You can write your articles about him, and without a doubt, he's going to get clicks.
Yeah.
So,
and it's easy because you don't even have to have an actual story. You can just make up whatever.
Right.
The only other kind of interesting thing that came out of that is the idea that he's going to get over $40 million a year, which was kind of in doubt. Some people thought he was going to come in lower, 35 to 37, and just have more guaranteed money. Florio, I don't know if this is something he's heard or if he's just talking, but he was saying that his extension is looking to come in over $40 million a year.
Yeah. A couple more comments, and then I want to talk about the contract part of it too, because what he's suggesting is you can't risk getting hurt because that'll put your contract in jeopardy, and we want to explain to you why that's completely wrong. Derek Wedley says, he said, "My bad, I effed." Simply, my bad, I effed up. Let's fix it. Can do a lot. Absolutely. Just Alice says Lamar is the most hated QB in football. Is he the most hated? Hold on. Can you see the comment? Oh, there we go. Were you clicking on it too?
At the same time.
Okay. I'll let you handle the clicks. I'll let you handle the clicks. I was like, StreamYard. Tough Puppy. I can't believe I've seen Dak ranked over Lamar by many people.
We're not going to slander Dak here. I mean, Dak's really good, but that's silly to rank him over Lamar. I hope Caleb's not in here
yet. Yeah, Caleb will say, and Vach will say that he's better than Lamar too. But those are two Cowboys fans. Of course, they're gonna say that.
Yeah.
But he's really good. We love Dak too.
Mm-hmm.
All right. But and that's one of those things. Look, you guys already know. Okay, we cape for all the black head coaches, all the black quarterbacks because there's not enough of them. But they're also doing really well right now. Dak is a really good quarterback. Russell Wilson's a really good quarterback. Patrick Mahomes is probably the best quarterback in the league. Mm-hmm. So if you want to say those guys are better than Lamar, okay, fine. Lamar's the fourth best. I'll take it. Right. Just don't say Matt Stafford's better because he's not.
Jimmy Kidwell. Allen had 21 dropped interceptions last year. He won't get away with that again.
Listen, no, he won't. Now, the question is, how much is he going to progress from last year?
Yeah.
How much is he going to mature as a passer, decision maker, things like that? That remains to be seen. I don't know.
It does, and I hope he does progress because he's fun to watch. I like watching him. Having the Bills be a real threat is more interesting. It's more entertaining, I think.
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm all for it. So salute to him, man. I was wrong on him. I thought he was going to be trash.
Yeah.
But no, see what we did? We were wrong. We
aren't entertaining Cowboys fans this evening.
Okay. Which one you want to go to? Chosen Rosen.
If your quarterback isn't named Mahomes or Rodgers, he's not better than Lamar. Okay.
There you go. Yeah, Stephon Diggs was a big part of that change too. Yes, absolutely he was.
Yeah, and they went and they upgraded his wide receivers again, getting him Emmanuel Sanders over John Brown. So I would expect him to come back and have a similar year to what he did last year.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Now let's talk about the contractual part of it.
Mm-hmm.
That's another thing you hear a lot too. Well, one, how much do you want to pay a mobile quarterback? That's one, because they're not going to last as long, because you're insinuating that they're not good passers, they're not good decision makers. What makes them good players at the time is that they have this great running ability, and that's what you're saying with Lamar Jackson. You can't give him a long-term deal because he won't be this quick quarterback for the next 10 years, maybe 5 years, which is BS. I think he's just as good of a passer as the top quarterbacks out there. We don't have the offense or offensive coordinator to let him showcase his skills.
Yeah.
But either way, the team believes in him. They're invested in him. And let's say he does get hurt, because we're talking about injuries right now. if he goes out there, I mean, I don't even want to jinx it, but if he goes and hurts himself and he has to miss a significant time or even miss the year, what does that do for his long-term contract? Absolutely nothing. Yeah. They're still going to sign him for the same amount of money they were going to sign him before he got hurt, because there's no injury really that's career ending like it was before. ACL tears, broken legs, and all that stuff, they're not career ending. You can come back, even torn shoulders, right? That was Drew Brees back in the day. Back when that was still a thing. You tore your shoulder, you were done.
Yeah. The Chargers let him walk. And to be fair, they had drafted Phillip Rivers previously, but they let him walk because they didn't know how he would come back from that shoulder injury. And that's why Miami got cold feet and didn't sign him in free agency. Yep. Also because they're the Dolphins and they can't be good.
And they signed Dante Culpepper, who was also hurt, by the way.
Also hurt, yes, a knee injury. Now he never came back quite the same, but he was also not the same kind of athlete that Lamar is, or Vic or Cam or anything like that.
But the way they treat those injuries now, as opposed to back then, is completely different.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, that's what led to Drew Brees going to New Orleans and all that. Thankfully, he's gone now, though. I can't stand Drew Brees. Cannot stand him.
That's a different story. But yeah, so basically, injuries don't do anything in terms of contract. Maybe if you're older at the tail end of your career, and again, that's not about injury. That has to do with your age. Mm-hmm. So there's no risk to Lamar in his contract, and for him to take shots at his mom, because that's what he's doing, saying a good agent would advise him to do this. You don't know what a good agent would do. You're not an agent. Yeah. You've never managed a NFL player or any kind of player. So what are you talking about? Just because his mom is taking charge of this, we assume that, or they assume that she doesn't know how to negotiate. You don't know anything about her background. You don't know anything about what she's capable of doing. And you're just saying, well, he's about to get screwed. And if he does, what business is that of yours?
Right.
Why do you care so much about these black athletes who you think are dumb and just reckless? Like, why do you care so much about how much money they make? That's another thing we have to talk about one day. Why the media cares so much about how much these black athletes make.
People didn't care so much when Mark Brunell went broke. They didn't really care when Drew Brees got scammed on some jewelry. Like, it's about controlling black athletes. That's what it's always been about.
Yeah.
Just Allo says Stephon Diggs made you guys wrong about Allen. Okay, I mean, we'll see. Great quarterbacks need great wide receivers.
Listen. It could be a fluke, but he had an excellent year last year. I'm not going to take that away from him. Yeah. Yes, Stephon Diggs is a damn good wide receiver. I wish we had him. But he should be a Raven.
What's up, Mr. J?
Mr. J, the Sixers in the house. What's going on? But look, Stephon Diggs ain't going nowhere. He's still there. And he got Emmanuel Sanders. Sometimes you can look at a quarterback and say, well, it's because of the weapons. That might be true, but you still got him.
Yeah. Mr. J is asking the trio of Bateman, Watkins, and Hollywood, or Amari, CeeDee Lamb, and Gallup. And that is Dallas's trio, no question.
Oh, my God. If we had that trio, I would say we're going 17-0. We're going 17-0.
Raven Riley's pay Lamar 5 years, $200 million, fully guaranteed.
You know what I want you guys to do? I mentioned this when we were talking about Julio Jones, that sometimes you guys, I don't think you really understand how great these players are. I want you guys this year, because most of us don't do it. I get it. Watch a full game of one of these other teams. Like, do it more than once. Don't just do it on a Monday night game or Sunday night game. Try to catch one of these other afternoon games if you can, right? Just watch some of these top wide receivers. Actually watch DeAndre Hopkins. Man. And just watch a full Sunday afternoon game, 1:00 game, and just watch these guys work so you can really understand what these guys are working with and what we're not working with. Yeah. What's going on, Caleb?
You know you are not. No, you are not.
He's saying that with a smile right now. He's sitting there laughing. You go 17-0.
Caleb, I'll fight you.
Okay.
Fair says Chad Pennington, man, that man's shoulder was gone. And you know what? And he was still getting it done for a while.
Chad Pennington would have been great. Great. I mean, before that shoulder injury, oh my God. Chad Pennington was the man. And he was still good afterwards. Yeah. Okay. So we want to go to Stephen A?
Sure.
Okay. Before we do that, what are you reading?
No, I'm just looking at some of the comments there.
Okay.
Just Allo listing a lot of. He said, "Doesn't Deshaun Watson have a good agent? Didn't Johnny Manziel have a good agent?"
Well, yeah. Johnny Manziel has that old money, so football was never going to be like it was never going to be an issue. It was always going to be a hobby to him. Okay. Johnny Manziel right now is doing just fine.
Yeah, just fine. Still playing football, and he doesn't care that it's not in the NFL.
Right. You know, he'll grow up when he's ready to grow up. When you're born into wealth, the maturity age is a lot later in life for you. Okay. Giant Man's for us, when we have to go to work, you know, a lot of us have to go to work right out of high school or college. So we have to mature a little bit faster. When you're born into wealth, maturity starts at 40. Like he's still a kid.
Well, yeah, you know, it's like with Ryan Lochte when he lied about getting mugged at the Olympics, and the media reported it. Oh, he's just a kid. He was 34 or 35 at that point.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, just a kid. He's older than me. But yeah, okay.
That's just rude, Garnet. Johnny's out there having fun.
He's just having a little fun. All right, we're gonna get into some Stephen A. Screaming A. But before we get into that, if you like the content, are you enjoying this? Are you guys enjoying this? It looks like it. I see 28 people in here. We back, B. After our little technical difficulty last week, we back. All right, take a minute, hit that like button. If you're new here, subscribe. Appreciate it. If you want to support the show, because me and B trying to do big things, we trying to blow up. We trying to grow this channel. Okay, we got lots of ideas in store for you, but you know, we need a little financial support to make that happen. There are 3 ways you can help us out. First way, right above me, patreon.com/LBHT Show. There are a lot of people in here that are patrons. Shout out to you. Shout out to Davon. Shout out to Garnet West. Shout out to Caleb. Shout out to Ferris. Shout out to the newest living legend. Okay. So what do you get for being a Patreon? Well, there's 2 tiers, $3 tier and the $10 tier. Both of those tiers give you a whole lot. First thing is we have our Discord chat that I see some people are in there right now. Like our man Derek Weatherly giving you the betting odds for stuff. Okay. We have fantasy football coming up, and we have the Pick'ems League coming up, right? So start of the season. So if you're into either one of those things, definitely sign up. We're going to have prizes. The Pick'ems League is going to have we're going to give away a trophy to the winner at the end of the year. Fantasy Football League, we're going to have a nice, shiny championship belt. Oh, yeah. And Ferris already said if he wins it, he's going to walk around with it everywhere he goes. Tell Puppy wants the Discord link. Yeah, you can get the Discord link, man. Just right here. Patreon.com/LBHT Show. All right. It's right in there. It's right in there. All you gotta do
actually it's pinned.
If you got $3, go ahead and sign up. Okay. What else do we get for the $10 tier? What do you get for being a $10 tier? This nice shiny coin, and they're limited. We miscalculated how much you guys love these coins and want one. They are actually running out, and when they're gone, they are gone. They are gone. But we will have something else in store for the $10 tier. So once they're gone, we will have something else. So don't you worry. And we're going to reveal that once we're done selling those coins. All right. So the second way, you're poor. You're poor, man. I hear you, man. Look, hey, it's okay. It's okay. Keep supporting by showing up like you do, man. We appreciate you. All right. The second way to support, right above B, $ LBHT Show. That's our Cash App. And if you look in the chat, I know you guys in the chat, you see a pinned comment. right? That's a new way for you to support. That's our Streamlabs. You click on there, and you have multiple ways that you can support. You can do PayPal. Does it do Venmo?
Well, it's PayPal, credit card, debit card. I don't know if there is Venmo for that, but it's any way that you can pay on PayPal.
Yeah. Okay. There you go. And we also have a Venmo, $ LBHT Show, if you like that. Okay. So that's what we use for our super chat. Leave a comment. No matter where you go to donate, leave a comment. We'll read it on air. That's what we use instead of our super chat. Okay. So the third way. This is one of my favorite ways right here. Oh yeah. You see that on the ticker right there? That's our store, lbhtshow.com/shop. If you like what we got here, we designed this for you guys. Okay. We call you the LBHT crew. Okay. That's you guys. LBHT crew. We designed that just for you. Okay. You go to the store and we have all kinds of goodies on that store. Take a look around. See if there's anything that you like. Look at that mug. Look at that. Look at that guy with the muscles. Muscles not included. You gotta work for that. But look at what look, those shorts looking clean. Look at that shirt right there. I got one of those. Look, it's summertime. I told you we got tanks. Okay, we got tees. Okay, we got all kinds of good stuff there, man. You see something you like, go ahead and make that purchase, and it supports the show. We appreciate you.
That's right, living legend. Purchase the merch.
Purchase the merch, man. I couldn't have said it better myself.
Mr. J say he going John Cena with the belt. We'll see.
See, there you go. There you go. That's gonna be a lot of fun. Yeah, we're gonna get that set up real soon. We're in mid-July. People are starting to set up their league, so we're gonna set up our league soon too. Look who's in the house. Not tough puppy. Attitude Pop. Attitude Pop. I almost say tough puppy because this is when he usually comes in towards the end. Okay, Attitude Pop. What up? I still don't understand why they keep saying Josh Allen's better than Lamar. He had a fluke season. Look, I'm not gonna say it's fluke yet. He had a good season. It's dumb. You can't have fun or give back. Brady or Rodgers were playing golf. That's right. They were playing golf.
Not only playing golf, but Aaron Rodgers was playing golf while telling everybody how much he hates his job and all his bosses, and maybe he's not going to show up for work.
Yeah, he said, "I'll be back when I'll be back." Davon says that mug is sexy. Not gonna lie, I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you. And I mean, I'm drinking a mug right now. Oh, look at that. Look at that. That's I don't know. I just feel like I have so much more energy after I drink out of this.
Wants
mug.
To make sure he's talking about the coffee mug.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel you. All right. Stephen A. I don't like mentioning people in the media that I don't like. Stephen A is one of those people I just don't like for a multitude of reasons. But, this is one of those reasons. Stephen A used to be a respected journalist. Right, he used to be a writer for the Philly newspaper, and then he started covering NBA. And he was exciting back in the day because he knew the game.
Because he yelled a lot.
He yelled a lot, but he was passionate about the game. Like what he said was, they were good. It was good analysis, but he brought something different. Screaming Nay, yes.
What's going on, Mikey? Thanks for coming through.
But it was entertaining and informative at the same time. But ESPN took the screaming part and just put it on steroids and said, cut out everything else. What's going on, Sterling? Appreciate you coming through.
Thank you.
So that's what he does now. And the hot take era, which him and Skip really, really helped create, right? That hot take debate type of format.
Embrace debate. Like they really went in with that. And in the beginning, it was new and people were intrigued by it, entertained by it. But they just took that and made basically the whole network that. And FS1 is no different. Like they modeled the same thing. And they're like, just say things that make people's ears perk, whether it makes sense or not, because they're going to talk about it. It gets clicks, it gets ratings, and that's what we need. And Stephen A really leaned into that. He will say and do anything at this point, no matter how ridiculous he sounds or looks, because they pay him. He's the highest paid guy
in sports media, I believe, right? 12 million a year.
Yeah,
right?
I believe so.
He's getting paid a lot of money. So the latest thing he said.
Yeah, let me get the quote here about Ohtani, the Angels player who's actually started the All-Star game at pitcher and as a position player. Like, he's killing it everywhere.
Yeah,
and he was also in the home run derby. Like, he can do everything in baseball at a really high level. But he's Japanese, and I guess he doesn't speak directly to the media. He uses an interpreter.
Right.
And Stephen A said, "I don't think it helps that the number one face is a dude that needs an interpreter so you can understand what the hell he's saying." He continued to say, "If you are a sport trying to ingratiate yourself with the American public the way Major League Baseball is, because of the problems that you've been having to deal with in terms of improving the attractiveness of the sport, it helps if you spoke the English language."
Yeah. So that's another thing that I mean, this is an American problem, right? We're very xenophobic here as a nation. We're very close-minded, and if somebody speaks a different language, we're turned off by it. We feel like everybody in the world needs to speak English. Everybody in the world speaks multiple languages except us.
Yeah.
Okay. It's not that, oh, well, you're here and you need to speak our language. It's that we're stupid. Let's be real about it. We're not educated enough to appreciate other cultures.
I wouldn't say stupid. Ignorant.
Yeah. I'm
willfully ignorant, because people don't want to be educated on anything that they don't know already or like already.
Right. So, but okay, that's where it stems from. Everybody understands where he's going with it, but one, I mean, you just can't say that, and two, you're wrong, right? Yeah. Because you can absolutely market players or athletes that don't speak English. There are a bunch of them out there. Who's one of the biggest stars in boxing right now? Canelo Alvarez, right? He doesn't speak English. You don't need your players to speak it. Like, I mean, Ichiro was popular. Ichiro don't speak English. Yeah. Well, not in public. He's another. I've heard he speaks perfect English, just not in public. Right. But you don't need that. And Ohtani is popular, so I don't know where he's going with.
As somebody pointed out on Twitter as well, nobody knows who Mike Trout is, and he's another fantastic player who obviously speaks English, and he's not a superstar the way that you would think he is. We were joking around, like, if you showed me 4 pictures of Mike Trout, I would not be able to tell you who Mike Trout is. Like, he's just not that kind of face. He's not the face of the league. He's not a superstar type in that sense.
Every year, this is a running joke on Twitter, right? Somebody post that, like, who's Mike Trout, and they post 4 pictures of guys.
Lion ain't a language, living legend.
You speak multiple languages, or does your uncle? But every year they somebody post something like that, and I've seen Mike Trout before, but to this day I cannot tell you what he looks like. And if you put him in a lineup, I'll probably get it wrong. Right? Like, he's just not a recognizable face. I mean,
and this is kind of what you're alluding to here from Adit. What we don't realize about foreign players is that they can speak English. They just use an interpreter to make sure they are not misunderstood. Yeah, also, and that's a lot of athletes do that.
They do, yeah. And also sometimes they just don't want to speak to the media, and they know if they use an interpreter, it will speed the interview process along.
You know what else we're not talking about? The interpreters don't tell you what the athletes are saying. I mean, if you watch these interviews, like, I know it's particularly bad in boxing. They'll ask the boxer a question, and they'll go on for about a minute and a half, and the interpreter will be like, "Yeah, it was a great fight." They can't remember all that.
Yeah.
Mr. J. Ichiro's the definition of consistency. Wasn't a home run power hitter, but when you needed a base hit or needed somebody to get on base, he was your guy. Absolutely.
All right. Giselle says, on a trip I took to Montreal a few years ago, the person I was with was mad that the clerk only spoke French in her own country. Shaking my head. We Americans have a lot to learn. Yeah, I'm going to tell you a quick story. I was part of this Sister Cities program in high school, right? A group of us went to Spain, and we stayed with, we were matched up with somebody over in Spain, right? Another group. There's these two organizations, and we stay at the person's house with their family, and then we do group activities together, right? Spanish group, with the English group and everything. On the flight over to Spain, we stopped in Amsterdam, and there was this long delay. And I'm dating myself. I had a portable CD player. Okay. Not MP3 wasn't a thing yet. I don't think the first iPad came out yet. But I had a portable CD player, and I needed batteries. Okay. I'm in the airport, and I find a store, and I'm just standing in line, and there's a bunch of people in line, and the clerk is speaking in Dutch, right? And Dutch is nothing like Spanish, right? I had no idea what's going on. And I'm like, man, like, I'm gonna have to use some sign language to say, battery or whatever, right? And I hear her speaking in Dutch with one person, another person comes up, and she's speaking like French, and I'm like, oh, she speaks French. Maybe she speaks Spanish. I'll practice my Spanish on her, right? Gets to me, she goes, "How may I help you?" I was like, right. Oh, you speak English? She's like, yeah. She's like, yeah, because we get a lot of different people coming through this airport. I speak multiple languages. What do you need? I was like,
I saw you and you look pretty dumb, so I figured.
So this pretty much, I said, how'd you know I spoke English? She was just like, I could tell you're American. Like, I mean, like,
that's the other thing, diplomacy, right? Not being disrespectful.
Yeah.
All right, Top Puppy, thanks for coming through. He said a question before he goes: what is Lamar's biggest weakness, and what do we need to do to get Lamar a ring?
His biggest weakness, him personally. What do you think he needs to work on, B?
I mean, look, I would say probably right now his biggest weakness is ball placement. Not that he's terrible at it or anything, but I think that's the
he
place
misses
where
some.
he can improve the most. In terms of Baltimore winning a Super Bowl, and the answer is in Tennessee. It was Julio Jones, but hopefully, I think that with the players they have now, assuming Rashad Bateman is the guy that everybody thinks he is, I think they have enough to get it done, but it's going to take a little bit of luck. They're just going to have to hope for great seasons from some young players.
Yeah. So your point with the ball placement, yes, I agree with that. Also, take a little bit more risk. He's very secure with the football. He's very conservative with the football in his hands. He doesn't want to make mistakes, and sometimes, he does see somebody that's open. But he doesn't have enough trust in them. Sometimes you just gotta throw the ball to them and let them make the mistake, right? If Boykin can't make the catch, then that's on him. But you got to give him a shot, right? If you see him running free, just throw the ball. That's what I would say.
All right, Tough. We'll see you next week, hopefully.
All right, Tough Puppy. Appreciate you coming through, man. Thank you very much.
Jimmy Hibwell says anticipation. Another solid answer.
Yeah.
Like every young player in the league, he's got a lot that he can work on. There's nothing that he's awful at, I would say.
Right.
And to like I said, to get to the Super Bowl, they got to keep building the offense. Yes. We got to wait and see what that O-line looks like in preseason and early.
That's going to be huge. If the O-line turns out to be really good, we can go far. If they turn out to be not so great, we're going to struggle.
Yeah. Just Allo said, I hate to admit it, on paper, Cleveland is better than us, but we don't play games on paper. Correct. Because they are going to beat the brakes off of Cleveland 2 times. And you are muted.
My bad. I was agreeing with you. So we have 5 minutes left before it's bonus time. I had another topic that kind of tied into the first 2 stories. And we don't have to spend that much time in it, but I just kind of want to get your guys' opinion about mainstream sports media. How much do you value mainstream media? When I say mainstream media, ESPN, FS1, CBS, things like that. The big hitters, Stephen A. Smith, Mike Greenberg, Skip and Shannon, like the guys that kind of
Colin Cowherd.
Yeah.
Even guys like Clay Travis and Gottlieb and them,
Yeah.
Barstool.
Like how much do you value those people? Because when Howard Bryant was talking about the difference between media and journalism, he was talking about those guys. I mean, he was particularly he's talking about Stephen A. Smith. He's not a journalist anymore, right? What he's doing is not journalism. Journalism is very important.
Interrupt you here. We got a cash app from Sterling. He said, "I couldn't then, but this is for Dennis Scrotum." Thank you.
That was from last week's show, and that was actually a typo. That was a typo, but that was pretty funny. That was pretty funny. Living Legend says LBHT is the only media I value. I appreciate that, man. But
I'm talking about Legend.
But look, you guys are subscribed to. I'm sure you are. If you're not, you need to subscribe to all the Ravens YouTubers, right? And Graven was in here earlier. Graven is a great media presence for the Ravens. Sip to Tally Films, he gives you great breakdowns of Ravens tape. Like he's showing you what's going on the field, right? Keeping it real, he's killing it right now, man. He is killing it. He does Ravens talk, breaking down all the NBA playoffs. He's doing the finals. He might be going live here soon, covering the Game 4. We didn't even talk about Game 4 yet.
Yeah, Bucks taking Game 4. Emphasis says 0.5 out of 10. I like Wiley and Acho, but it's just entertainment.
So that's why I'm getting to, right?
One's you got Just Alice saying I don't watch much mainstream media other than Bomani. I only watch ESPN for the HD highlights when I watch it at all.
Yeah. So mainly it's just entertainment.
I prefer following some of the beat reporters of the actual teams. Mr. J. I'm excited to see if Cleveland secondary can come together with Delpit, Greedy, Ward, John Johnson, Ronnie, Troy, and now Newsome. A lot of talent over there, but the Browns gonna brown.
I think there'll be a playoff team again. I think we get 3 teams going to the playoffs again from the AFC North.
I wouldn't count on Pittsburgh making it, honestly. I'm with the whole Ravens YouTube community. It's real news. That's right.
Yeah, and I think what attracts you to what we do, I see you, Just Allo, Engraven, Sip to Tally, Sunny, etc. Yeah, I think what you appreciate is you're getting genuine opinions, right? And stuff that you don't really hear on mainstream media, because you watch one show, you watch them all, because they're going to say the same thing, they're going to regurgitate the same thing throughout the day. And what made me think about it was, we did a show a couple weeks ago talking about Scottie Pippen. Scottie Pippen made a comments about Phil Jackson being a racist, and the initial reaction, and even for a second I had that reaction, like, oh man, like he was on there drunk, man, he's just talking or whatever, right? And that's the reaction that a lot of people in mainstream media kind of went with. Hey, he's not in the right frame of mind. Hey, he's just trying to sell books, this and that. Okay, fine. But people have pointed out, hey, Phil Jackson has said a lot of things over the years that can make you question that, right? So I was looking for some follow-up to that. I was looking for people to say, hey, you know what?
That's what I'm talking about. I don't know.
Yeah. But, we put it in our title. Scottie Pippen has a point, right? And that's what we want to talk about. And that was just a couple of days after Snotty tripping. There you go. What's going on, Darius?
Hot takes for clickbait.
Yeah, but the thing was, like, there's no follow up saying, okay, hey, these were brought to our attention. Honestly, they are professionals. They should already have that information on hand when they go to talk about it to begin with. They should already know, hey, Phil Jackson wrote a book. This is a quote from a book. We read the quotes, right? We read the quotes. We read what he said in interviews. This is who he is. So don't just go out there and say, oh, Sky's being ridiculous. There's not warranted. There's no receipts of what he's saying. No, there are receipts. He wrote them. These are his words. So it's be fair to Scotty. And the person whose show he said it on, Dan Patrick, even said it. Like, look, I want to be completely fair to him. I don't know if it's true or not. Right. Like, that's all you got to say. That's all you got to say. But everybody just jumped on Scottie Pippen, and it's easy to jump on him. He's vulnerable right now, man. Like, his son just passed away, dude. He's going through a tough time. And they want to jump on him and defend Phil Jackson. None of you know Phil Jackson.
Right.
None of you. And none of you know him like he knows him.
Yeah.
So,
that's a mistake that people make with, not even just sports, and with athletes and coaches, with singers and movie stars, with everybody. You don't know any of these people.
Nope.
You don't know any of them. Richard Sherman was arrested earlier today, charged with domestic violence, burglary. His wife came out and wanted to emphasize that, nobody was harmed or anything. He I guess broke into a house trying to retrieve something, right? But nobody got hurt or anything like that.
So where did the domestic violence come from?
It's just the charge because it was like, a domestic partner's home.
Gotcha.
I think I don't know if they're separated or what. She said they're still married, but he went into somebody's house to get something. Okay. And initially, I saw the tweet saying that he was arrested, and the very first reply was, "I don't buy this. He's a stand-up guy." Like, you don't know Richard Sherman. You've seen him give interviews. You don't know anything about him.
It's natural to have feelings about something, right? Mm-hmm. You whether you know the person or not, it's natural to be like, man, I don't see it, But you have to have an open mind and say, okay, I don't really see him doing it, but you never know.
Yeah.
Right. And especially if you're in media, you have a responsibility to kind of keep your feelings at bay. Doesn't matter what you think is going on. Right. That's where the journalism part of you is supposed to come in and say, okay, this is what he said. And, I asked him follow-up questions and he stood by it. And, okay, well, I don't know him. So, yeah. I can do some follow-up with Phil Jackson and see what he says about it. I can ask some other players, see what they say about it. I can do my own research. And, he said some stuff in this book that he wrote. He said some stuff before. You can ask LeBron James. LeBron James has made comments about Phil Jackson in the past, right? And LeBron came out and said, like, look, I don't like this guy, right? Yeah. When he made the whole comment about Posse, he's just like, you could tell he hasn't been around some professional, some front office black folks before, because you definitely don't use terms like that, So,
just Al saying, also when you mention that people may be racist, many people get defensive. Absolutely,
yep. They do. Yeah,
I'm not
and
sure
and they get defensive for other people.
Yeah, I'm not sure what you're referring to here, Mikey. Saying didn't happen, and my favorite player, by the way. Not sure who you're referring to there.
Yeah, we missed something. I'm not sure. Just type it in the chat again.
Attitude Pop. No. How you gonna get 35 points and 15 assists, man?
I agree with you, Attitude Pop. Sons of five. Sons of five. All right, let's hit some bonus time. Man, we are very efficient today. We usually don't hit bonus time until like 30 minutes after the show should have been done. Right. All right, bonus time. We're going to hang out here for a few minutes. Type in the chat whatever you want to discuss. We'll hang out here, and then we're going to hit up the overtime. If you want to be part of overtime, right above me, patreon.com/LBHT Show. It's going to happen right after this show. We do it every Wednesday after the live stream, and we do more of this.
and also, listen, go on YouTube, search for Old Man Gamers, and hit that subscribe button. We just put out a video, a long review for the Fear Street Part 1 and Part 2. We had a guest on with us, and that thing is averaging a view an hour right now.
It was a lot of fun, though.
It was fun. It was a good conversation. So if you're into movies and gaming, go ahead and hit up Old Man Gamers. Hit that subscribe button.
Yeah. All right. So what we got here? Sky Pippins is he's saying Sky Pippins is favorite player all time.
Okay.
And that's absolutely right.
Is the reason MJ got 6 rings. Yes.
100% facts.
Yeah. And that's not to take away from Michael Jordan, but you have to have help.
Yeah.
You have to.
Yeah. You look, you can get a ring without other great players around you. You still have to have good players. But if you want to have a dynasty, you have to have other great players around you.
And if you want to get a ring without other great players, you have to get lucky.
You have to get LeBron James.
Well, Dirk got one, Olajuwon got two, and big part of it was luck. Somebody's getting one this year, without great players around them. Yeah, and it's a lot of luck.
Yeah, I think Devin Booker is a great player. He's not playing great right now, though.
Yeah, but that is my point. He doesn't have any great players around him. Chris Paul, he's lesser. He's not him. He's not prime Chris Paul.
Right.
Giannis doesn't have any great players around him. They've got really good players around them. Obviously, that's how you get to the finals. But everybody got hurt, and that's the only reason both of these teams are there.
That's true.
Mr. J, no matter how the series goes, proud of how former UNC Tar Heel Cam Johnson has been playing. Man, I gotta start reading these comments before I put them up, man. Screw the Tar Heels, all right? No, he has been playing very well, very well.
Yeah, I love that dunk he did the other day.
I still can't believe people are really mad at Jackson for having a fun day. Yes, they are upset.
The audacity for him to have fun on his day off.
Derek says Suns in 6 plus 350 and a nice hedge play.
Okay. Yep. I also want to bring up this is we did a story about Sam Darnold a couple weeks ago. It was stuff like this that I had in mind, right? When Lamar goes and does something, it's hyper scrutinized, right? You can't go out there and do this. You should be staying at home. You can't be. Last year he was playing on the beach and he jumped over that boat or whatever, or that jet ski or whatever, and people lost their minds over that. He was speeding one time. Remember, he was speeding on the road. Oh, you're being reckless. He had to come out and apologize for that.
Yeah.
My man Sam Darnold out here. I ain't seen one video of him working out. Not one. Okay, not one. I don't see any muscle definition on this man's arms. Okay. Yeah. I don't think he spent any time in the gym, but I see him at the bar without a mask with your running back. I see him at the Javonte Davis fight front and center without a mask with your running back. Okay. I see you going, I see you doing a lot of socializing and you haven't proven that you can play football yet. Okay.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if we're talking about optics, if we're talking about, the image of it and all that stuff, I see a man who looks like maybe he doesn't care about football that much.
And while we're on the subject, I do want to mention, we didn't talk about it, but it looks like Taylor Moton is not going to be getting an extension done. They're saying that he's fine playing on the franchise tag again. After Ramczyk got his deal in New Orleans,
which is why I don't understand why we didn't just trade for Taylor Moton straight up. Trade Zeus.
Well, I mean, I'm sure they weren't interested because Carolina's run. I mean, I'll just say they're incompetent still.
Yeah.
You waited. Now right tackles are getting near $20 million. So of course he's not going to sign for much less than that. He's one of the top right tackles in the league. He's going to play out this year on the franchise tag, and then, I mean, are you going to franchise him again? Or are you going to let him walk because they've shown over the last couple of years they really don't care about building the O-line?
Right.
Mikey says, I saw this question online earlier, so I will ask you guys, is this the worst finals in NBA history? No, I wouldn't say so. I mean, I think the games have been pretty entertaining.
Yeah, look, obviously the injuries kind of put a damper on the playoffs, but the playoffs have been fun for the most part. They've been fun to watch. But worse in history, no. Giannis is a great player.
The Spurs did beat LeBron, Danny Green, Danielle Marshall, and crew 4-0, right? Like, that happened not too long ago.
That was awful.
Yes. Just, Al, can you imagine what people would say about Lamar if he actually committed, God forbid, a real crime? Yeah. He'd be out the league.
There would be a bunch of people popping champagne, celebrating on ESPN, and a lot of "I told you so's," and there'd be a lot of celebrating.
Sam Darnold beyond trash. Thank God we didn't draft him. All right, man. You know what else? You know what else you didn't draft? You didn't draft Rashawn Slater either.
But you drafted Daniel Jones.
And you drafted Daniel Jones.
Oh, how you feel about Daniel Jones?
Damn Sarnold. That's right. and this another point from Just Allen here. Donald already got mono and missed. I don't know. I can't even remember how many weeks with that.
That's right.
That man do not care.
And he came back and he saw ghosts.
We're going to lose Moton due to stupidity, huh? Yes.
Yeah.
I believe so.
We're going to be ramping up some Panthers talk next week, too. We got to try to get Rashad and David on here one of these days. And Mr. J, Derek, any other Panthers fans in here, any Panthers fans that watch the replay, make sure you subscribe to Panthers Nation Podcast, PNP, Rashad and David. All right? They cover everything, man.
Yeah,
and he does a lot of scouting, too.
Their Patreon, too. We're members of the Patreon over there. Yes. They do great work.
Yeah. Yep. But, all right, we'll hang out here for a couple more minutes, and then we will hit up the overtime show.
Listen, Giannis, going back to Mikey's question, Giannis is a phenomenal player. I mean, people love to focus on the fact that he can't, he's not a good shooter. He can't hit his free throws in the playoffs for whatever reason, because he's much worse in the playoffs this year than even he is during the regular season. But he's a dominant player despite those glaring flaws. Like, he overcomes those and still carries that team. Yeah. And on top of that, he's one of the most likable players in professional sports. So Giannis getting his ring is never going to be classified as the worst finals ever. Okay. Now, if Phoenix wins, you've got Chris Paul over there,
he's very popular.
Who should be banned from any kind of hardware.
Man,
it would be
Chris Paul. He's Mr. State Farm.
I haven't made that a secret. I absolutely hate Chris Paul. He's a terrible guy. I mean, on the court, obviously. I'm not talking about off the court. He seems like a good guy. But on the court, I can't stand Chris Paul. I hope they don't win another game ever.
He said the best sports story of the weekend had to be Trey Mancini making it to the finals of the home run derby when a year ago was undergoing chemotherapy for stage 3 colon cancer. Wow.
Listen, man, shout out to Trey Mancini, man. That's amazing.
Yeah,
and great that he he's better now and he's back to doing what he loves. But I will say this. I'm sorry, before you go on, I hate baseball and I do not care.
Something else I found out about our man Adib Mahmoud. He's got a YouTube channel.
What?
Plug it, Adib. Plug it. I can't remember.
Drop the link, Adib.
Drop the link, Adib. Okay, drop a link. We support LBHT crew in here. You didn't know. I knew. You didn't know. I knew. I watched a couple of those videos. I hit the like button. Okay. Alvin Kamara will be doing these Evel Knievel high risk workouts and gets praised for it. But Jackson only going against kids 40% is more scary.
Listen, that's because Alvin trying to get better. Right? Yeah. And everybody out here is like, F them kids. It's football season.
Mikey wants to know, does USA win gold?
Yes. Actually, no. I'm going to say no because they are exhausted and hurt. I don't think they're going to get it.
So that's all I have to say. We didn't even talk about that with Stephen A. The Nigeria team. That was the other part of what Stephen A. was talking about. We didn't even say it. We didn't talk about it.
I can't believe what I'm reading here, Just Allo. Should have been MVP of what?
All right, we got redo the Stephen A. segment. We missed the comments he made about Nigeria. All right, we'll talk about it real quick when we get out of here because we were supposed to cover it. But yes, the other part of what he was saying that got him in trouble was just his dismissal of the Nigeria team because Nigeria beat US.
Team USA beat the US. Pressers Achuya, I believe is how you say it. I'm not 100% sure. He blocked Kevin Durant's dunk. It was a big thing. Their social media was really celebrating that. They're posting videos and everything. It was funny. But he was disgusted by them losing to Nigeria because they're Team USA and they've got all these stars. And then he just started laughing at the Nigerian players' names, and pretending he didn't know who they were.
Right. And if you watch Stephen A. for years, if you're old like us, that's one of the things he used to do with Mavadenko and all these other players that he couldn't pronounce the names. He kind of make fun of it, and that was his shtick back in the day. And okay, it was funny back in the day, but it's 2021, and do something else. Okay. And also
notable. No, go ahead. Sorry.
No, and also, man, this is the time for you, Mr. Basketball, to do some real analysis, right? Yeah. Don't just say, "Oh, they should have blown them out. I can't believe you're losing to Nigeria." Well, give some context to that. Okay, yeah. Why do you think they're? I mean, one, I don't even think they're struggling. I think it's just exhibition games. But a bunch of players have been getting hurt throughout the year. A bunch of players got hurt in the playoffs, and LeBron James has been saying it from the offseason. We didn't get a break. We need a break.
Living legend reaching deep for Rasho
Nesterovic.
And I do want to also point out, as I say, a notable thing there. Stephen A. did come out and give an apology about his Ohtani comments. No apology for Team Nigeria.
None. And Garnett says Max is more blacker than him. T.O. agrees with you. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, look, Stephen A. he's getting paid because the network thinks he's bringing in all the ratings in. If they let him go, the ratings would drop. There's other more talented people out there that they can bring in.
There we go. Sports Talk Central with Deaton Hunter.
There you go.
Search it on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button.
Subscribe. Do that. Do it now. It takes 2 seconds. Go over there. Subscribe. All right.
We got Mr. J with Galladay, Slayton, Ingram, Saquon, Shepard, Tony, red zone target Rudolph, and John Ross to run the 9 route. I better see Jones put up 4K passing yards. Listen, he'll put up 4,000 passing yards just because they're going to be losing every week.
Do you know how many turnovers are going to come with those 4,000 yards? I
gotta point out here, Ingram is bad. Rudolph also bad. John Ross very bad.
Yeah, but fast.
But they do have
Saquon.
They have some targets there.
They got Saquon. They got Galladay.
I think he'll hit over 4,000 yards just because they're going to be losing a lot.
Yeah.
He took the lowly Phoenix team to the championship. Prime Barkley couldn't even do that. Well, okay. Well, Barkley did make the finals.
But they weren't low. They weren't lowly.
And the Phoenix Suns aren't lowly either. They were almost in the playoffs last year before he got there. They were going to make the playoffs this year with or without Chris Paul.
Yeah, they're just a young team. That's all. They're very talented. They're just a young team.
And Chris Paul didn't take no lowly Phoenix Suns to the championships. The doctor took Phoenix to the championship. They have played the Lakers, the Nuggets, the Clippers, all severely limited by injury.
All right. Just Alice said, Jose, did you just say Stephen A for context? Yeah, I know. At this point, I mean, he's turned complete heel. He's a complete character. If you want to see what Stephen A used to really be like, man, you have to go back to early 2000s, maybe the 90s. But this Stephen A now, it's a clown show. Yeah. You're not getting anything valuable from watching Stephen A. Smith, and ESPN has a lot to do with it. I mean, he's a sellout. Let's just be real. He sold out for money, and I'm sure he's fine with that. He seems to be fine with that. Okay, fine, go get your money. I'm not gonna be mad at you at that. But ESPN says we're going to take your yelling. We're going to take the announcers out. We're going to take your yelling, and then we're going to put it on basketball, football, baseball, boxing, UFC. We're going to cover. You're going to cover everything like you're an expert, and you don't know anything anymore. But just keep yelling and and say ridiculous things, and that'll get us ratings, and they're happy with that.
I can't believe you, Just Allo. I can't believe you. No, sir.
That's true.
Like he says, thoughts on the talk of Bud Crawford possibly fighting Charlo after this fight this weekend. I think that's a bad idea. I don't think that he should be moving up trying to fight anybody. He needs to stay put.
You talking about Crawford?
Yeah. Make the stay put, make the Spencer fight and go from there. But I would not want to see him moving up trying to fight Charlo.
I was gonna say with Charlo, but both of them are close in weight class. So it'd be
he would be at, I believe, at 154, the lighter one. And then the other's at 160. I don't have any idea which one is which. I never have.
Jamal is the heavier one. I believe he's the one in Canelo's weight class.
What was that quote from The Dark Knight, where you live long enough to see yourself as the villain? Yeah, you either die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
Yeah. So, but the Bud Crawford thing.
That's what they're. Yeah, that is what they're telling Steven.
Yeah. You work for every penny of it. It's like someone saying, "Yeah, I make twice as much as you, but you work 40 hours, I work 80 hours." Right? That's what they're doing with Stephen A.
Yeah. Is Ryan Garcia actually good, or is he hype? Ryan Garcia is good.
He
can fight, but I don't think that he's to the level of the guys around him.
Yeah, that's the problem. Like he's really good, but Ryan Garcia, Devin Haney, Tank, Javante Davis, Loma, Teofimo,
I think Stevenson even.
Yeah, I think he's sixth or seventh. I think all those guys can beat him, but all those guys are excellent fighters, and we're getting to the point where those guys are going to have to start fighting each other, right? I like that they're kind of building a name for themselves, but you're at the point now you're gonna start seeing some of these guys fight. I mean, you already saw Lomachenko and Teofimo fight, but you're gonna see more of those fights with these bigger names.
That is for comics and movies. You don't need to sell out in real life.
That's true. You're absolutely right about that. All right, couple more and then we're going to get out of here.
I thought it was 12. Not sure what you're referring to.
Yeah, 12 million. 12 million.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, it's 8 million salary and then 4 million. I forget exactly how they worded it.
Clown bonus?
4 million for how much work did you put in?
Yeah, overtime. Overtime. It's like I said before. Yeah, I make twice as much as you, but I work 80 hours a week. You work 40 hours a week, right? I want Tank to beat him up so bad. Who you talking about? Crawford? Oh, Ryan Garcia.
It's not nice.
Yeah. Alonzo coming back to the Lakers. Whose Space Jam will be better, LeBron's and Jordan's?
Look, LeBron's movie will be better, but nobody who saw the first one is going to think that, because we're all much older now, and both those movies are terrible.
Yeah. All right. We got one more comment. Read that last comment, and then let's get out of here.
Back in my day, all the great non-heavyweights fought each other. Leonard, Hagler, Hearns, Pryor, and Duran. Yeah. I think you'll see that now as well. They're just they're working up to it.
Yeah, because even back in the day, they had to make a name for themselves before. They didn't fight each other coming up.
Yeah.
When they reached a certain level of popularity, that's when they started making those fights happen. I think that's what these fighters are trying to do now. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, and they're all mad young. Like these guys they're not old at all. They are young. So I mean, give them some time to build their names, and I think you'll start to see it.
Canelo's holding things down right now. He's going around collecting belts like he's Thanos. But at the lower weight classes, you're going to see a lot of great fights over the next several years.
Yeah. All right, y'all. Man, appreciate you coming through. This was a fun show. Mm-hmm. We had after the debacle last week. I'm still mad about that. But if you guys want some more, you want to hang out a little bit longer, just hit up patreon.com/LBHT Show. To all of our Patreons, just what are you laughing at?
We gotta put this up here. Ferris loves this documentary, the King's documentary on Showtime. He's been
Ferris,
pushing that for a while.
The executive producer. Yeah, we're gonna watch it. He's gonna executive producer Ferris Muthana. He's got a stake in the movie. Yeah. All right, patrons, give us a couple minutes.
Check it out, though.
Yeah, we'll check it out. Maybe we'll do a review on Old Man Gamer's channel. Oh,
there you go.
All right, y'all. Y'all have a good night. We'll see you next time. Peace out.